Namaste to all. A very important and interesting question I received in YouTube. The question is like this: if there are contradictions between what your Acharya says, that is Swami Ram Swarup Yogacharya, if he says something and if it is contradicting to what is told by Maharishi Dhanand Saraswati, then which is the one which I should consider as authentic? This question is very, very important for us to understand. Okay, first of all, let me tell you from my experience. I've been learning Vedas under the lotus feet of my Acharya for the last 18 years now. And I have also studied most of the works of Swami Dayananda Saraswati ji, and I have not found any contradiction between the preach of both the rishis. Of course, if somebody is able to find some contradiction, then the solution is always in the Vedas and Shastras. Vedas says very clearly the fundamental that iti shushruma dhiranam yena stadavichi chakshire. Dhirana means Dhir Purush, those people who have attained Samadhi, whose mind is stabilized, whose intellect is stabilized in Almighty God, who has realized the light of the Almighty God in the Samadhi. From those people, from those yogis, from those rishis only, we have to listen the Vedas. Sushruma means to listen. So when you read a book of Maharishi Dhanand Saraswati and when you read a book of Swami Ram Swarup Yogacharya, if you find contradiction, then you have to go to an Acharya who has realized Almighty God in Samadhi and ask the question to him or her to get clarification. Otherwise, we will never get a clarification on the confusions. And number two, Kapil Muni also says in his Sankhya Darshan, Jivan Neva. Jivan Neva means one who is alive. That person is needed for us to get clarity on what is Vedas, what is truth, what is Almighty God, what is Prakriti, etc. But if you are in a position that you cannot go to an Acharya to listen Vedas or to ask questions, then what should you do? This is very difficult to answer because the fundamentals are always clear. Vedas are not textbooks. Vedas are knowledge given to the Samadhist yogi. When a person attains a Samadhi, he is called as yogi, he is called as rishi. And the knowledge of Almighty God is given inside to that person in Samadhi. So, Vedas are not textbooks. So, Maharishi Dayananda Saraswati, if he writes something, he is writing when he was alive, he has written something. So, for us to decode it properly, we have to have the light of a present yogi. So that is why I always says that you have to, at least you can do like this, you can try to put forward your question in vedmandir.com and my Acharya can reply to you with clarification that why there is some contradiction. If at all there is contradiction, why there is contradiction and which is truth, etc. My Acharya will explain to you. And number two is, even like when we read Kapil Muni's Sankhya Shastra, Kapil Muni has, many people have this opinion that Kapil Muni has spoken against other darshanas. Except Yoga Shastra, all other darshanas, Kapil Muni is contradicting. But, Maharishi Dayananda Saraswati has beautifully clarified this point that no, Kapil Muni is not contradicting anybody else. In fact, Kapil Muni is telling a different dimension. For example, if somebody, 6 people are tied, their eyes are tied and then they are asked to touch an elephant, then the 6 people will tell that, okay, somebody will say that I am seeing an object which is very big. Somebody will say that I am touching an object which is very rough. Somebody will say that I am touching an object which has a trunk. Somebody will say that I am touching an object which has big legs or like pillars. Everybody is right from their point of view because everybody is touching the elephant without knowing that they are touching an elephant. This is how we have to understand the philosophy of darshanas. So if Kapil Muni's Sankhya Shastra is contradicting with somebody, some other Shastra, then only one solution we have in hand is to go to an Acharya to do Adhyayana of that Shastra. Otherwise, we will not be able to understand the truth. So if you find any contradiction between Maharishi Dayananda Saraswati and my Acharya ji Swami Ram Swarup Yogacharya, which is definitely not a contradiction as per me, you have to go to the living Acharya to question, to get clarification, because truth cannot be established by reading books. Truth can be established only when you put forward question to a learned Acharya, and then you get the light of the Vedas, light of the truth of the Vedas from that Acharya. Otherwise, you may end up in confusion. You may live in confusion only. So try to put forward question in vedamandir.com. My Acharya is always busy in tapasya, so you might get delayed answers. But nevertheless, try again. And if I know the answer, you can question to me in my YouTube channel. I will try to clarify based on the knowledge what I have gained from my acharya. If not possible, I will see if I have time and my acharya has time. When I meet my acharya, I can also ask you a question and then come back to you. But the best thing is you yourself put forward your question in vedmandir.com and then wait for the answer. That is how your confusions can be clarified, and then you will understand end of the day that both the rishis have told the same truth. There is no contradiction, there is no confusion, because I am very much clear based on my own study in the last so many years. I am very clear that there are no contradictions between the two rishis. Thank you so much. Namaste. Om.